There are a lot of times you're going to replace some existing software system or business process, and the question is, how do you replace those while keeping the patient alive? I always joke that replacing a existing software module in the back somewhere is like doing a heart swap while the patient is still running the marathon. And so there's two primary ways we do that, and one is doing a shim, like a anti-corruption layer for API calls, and part of this depends on whether you're going to replace this at a API boundary or an event stream boundary. And the real problem in a lot of ways, either it's not cut into the right pieces to make this thing happen, or the thing you're tapping into is so specific to the existing system that it's really not a good place, right? Like I saw somebody a couple years back was going to replace a really big regulated system, and it turned out we couldn't really find a great tap point in an abstract sense. We could only find taps in the existing sense. And so what had been pitched was an event piece. So if you look at the way these work, you have an API at the top, and you have some business functions that get called, and eventually those get turned into event streams, right? And those get processed by other systems. The problem we had, though, was when you look at this downstream part where the green is on this thing, that's far enough downstream we don't really know why the transaction occurred anymore. So we couldn't actually use those events or the database operations to drive another system, because in a lot of ways those are digested already. And so you have to move upstream, but the farther upstream you move, the more complex the replacement is, right? So sometimes it involves rework of the existing system to make better partitions, and sometimes you got to look and decide what the granularity you need and what is the granularity of your replacement. And I will talk about more in another time.